Well, hello and thank you for joining me for another iTWire video with top international and Australian executives. I have with me on the right-hand side Boaz Maor. He's the head of customer success at Mashery, visiting from the US. Welcome.
Thank you.
And on the left, I have Jason Cormier. He is the director of strategy and business development at Mashery in Australia. So welcome to you too.
Thank you.
So I thought we'd just quickly start by asking both of you to tell us a little bit about yourselves and what it is that you do at Mashery.
So I run the customer success team at Mashery. That's the team that's responsible for helping our customers maximize the value they get from our solutions, from whatever they bought from us. It's a global team, EMEA, North America, Asia Pacific, being here in order to help the local team here, growing our business and our commitment to Australia and APJ.
Sure, Jason.
So I'm here effectively to evangelize the benefits of API platforms to businesses in Australia. So I work with the customers we've got in the region already to help them improve their platforms, get the most out of it, but really to try to take that message out to the rest of corporate Australia that they need to be embracing APIs and platforms.
So probably the next question is a very simple one. Can you please give us the definition of what is an API?
Look, an API is a gateway to data and services. So every business today is a digital business in some capacity. They've got digital assets. It might be data, it might be content, it might be services. And the ability to expose those services internally and externally to partners is done via APIs, a piece of technology in which somebody gets access to those services.
And that's called an application programming interface, and it's a hook into which an internal or an external developer can interface with your software or your database and give it information, get information, and suddenly you're sharing that information in a way that lets you do more with it, or let some other people do more with it.
Get more value out of it. So
yeah.
You've got assets that are valuable, and by exposing it, sometimes you get more value out of those assets than you're already getting.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's well known that you can achieve more working as a team rather than individually, and this is one example, in a way, of the digital world doing just that. So can you tell us about a day in the life of a person interacting with APIs? And I mean, we obviously, all of us using devices, we must come into contact with many of them on a daily basis.
Yeah, I would say the average person doesn't even realize how much time they touch APIs or utilize APIs. We do that all the time. We have smartphones, we have Apple Watches, we have all of those devices. They all get information into their apps via APIs. You went online and you wanted to look for a review, that's an API call you made to a Bazaar voice or something like that. You wanted to navigate to your home, you probably use TomTom data to navigate into where you are. You want to use your Fitbit or Apple Watch to secure your data about your walk or your run. You're sending API, via API, you're sending data to some system. It's all around us, we use it all the time. The successful companies are those that are enabling more APIs and easier to use APIs, so more innovation can be created on their data via those different applications.
So how does Mashery specifically work, help companies to manage APIs? I mean, APIs are not something that Mashery helps a company create. They already do that through their software development kits, whether it's their own or with the companies they're working with. So what specifically does Mashery do?
So what can happen is when you've got APIs, you've got a lot of people consuming those APIs, it can get complicated, it can get tricky really quickly to know who's accessing what services at what rate, and you need to control that, you need to manage it. And so what Mashery provides is API management software. It sits in front of your APIs and it acts as a gateway, and it authenticates those that come through and makes sure that the right people are accessing the right services, they're getting access to at the rate that they're allowed to, and you're tracking and measuring everything. It's a really important part is the analytics side. When you know what people are doing with your data and your services, you can measure that, you can learn from it and improve.
So essentially what we provide is outsourced service to those customers that don't want to create those capabilities of marketing of APIs, securing APIs, authenticating APIs, analytics over APIs. They want to do their core business in media and retail and travel. We provide them a service to manage those APIs between their databases and their developer community.
And so at the moment, I mean, smaller companies are just trying to do this themselves and cobbling together their own tools and suddenly realizing it's all too difficult for them to do that?
Kind of. It's not necessarily the size of the business, it's more the degrees of scale that are needed. If you have a very small number of APIs exposed to a small number of developers, you don't need a management system for it. Once it starts to scale, you have more APIs, more endpoints, more developers, more capabilities needed at varying degrees to different audiences. Then you need a layer in between to manage this. You can build it on your own, but why do you want to do that? You want to focus on your core business, we provide a service.
And everything is available as a service now, and so it's natural.
It's cloud-based, It's multi-tenant, so you don't need to worry about spiking up and down. It works for you.
The message here is you do what you do best, focus your attention and time on that, and outsource what you don't have the expertise in and let the experts handle it for you.
Sure. Now, we've been in the app world for nearly a decade, and of course there was software around long before then. How long has Mashery been around?
So we were founded in 2006 in the US. We've been acquired by Intel in 2013. So we're now part of the larger Intel community, helping them with the Internet of Things initiative that they are driving forward. We've been operating in Australia for about 4 years now.
Yeah.
All right, so growing the business here, and we're actually very excited. We have a very large, nice set of customers here and growing, so it's quite exciting. We do believe that Australians deserves more apps. Right? It was lovely for me to land in Sydney, turn on my Apple Watch and see a lot of apps keep working. I think Australians probably want more, and we're here on a crusade to enable more companies to expose more APIs so more apps can be developed.
And to that end, that's happening now. I know when I started in this role 2.5 years ago, I would have conversations with businesses, and the conversation would start with what is an API. Today, most of the companies I talk to, the conversation is how do I optimize my API program so that I get more benefit to my business. So it's clear the market is maturing now and getting to that place where they can start delivering those services.
And no doubt, looking at all the analytics that you're providing, the companies are improving their APIs. They're
constant. And we work with them to help them do that. Part of why we're successful is we have a customer success program in which we don't just sell a bag of tools to somebody and say you're on your own. We work with them after the fact to make sure they're optimizing what they're doing and getting the most value out of it. We have so much experience in-house within our organization and through our customer networks that we like to share and bring to the table.
So one of the benefits of our solution is it's a multi-tenant SaaS solution. So we actually have the finger on the pulse with every one of our customers to know what happens. Very often we know ahead of the customer if they have a problem. So we can help them not only after the fact, but during the fact to fix problems, to optimize, to make it better.
So who are some big Australian and international customers that we'd all recognize?
So traditionally, the segments of customers where we had the most success are those that digitalization is making the biggest impact on them, either as challenges or opportunities. Media, retail, travel, to some extent healthcare. So you look around and give me 10 names of media customers, most likely more than 5 of them are our customers. From The Guardian to USA Today to New York Times to Disney to ESPN to News Australia. Retail, we have just about every brand out there. Travel, British Airways, Lufthansa, KLM, Travelocity, all of our customers.
And then here in this region, I mean, what's wonderful is that this applies to any business of any size, right? Anybody can be thinking API first. So we work with anything from small startups. There's a company called Dubber in Melbourne that's doing some really fascinating stuff around voice recording and analysis, to MYOB, right? A huge organization that's doing that. We were right there with them to help them strategize and launch their API platform, to develop a developer ecosystem around it, and it's been a huge part of their success over the last number of years.
So how else has the API economy evolved over the past few years, and how do you see it evolving over the next 5 to 10?
I think that's a very interesting question. Initially, right, if we look 5, 6, 7 years ago, we have seen APIs as a means to try and innovate without knowing where to. So people would open APIs, run hackathons, and expect to see innovation just
see where the
up.
developers would take.
That's right. And that has proven to be somewhat successful in some places, but if it's not directed, it's very hard to make traction on it. What we have seen over time is more focus on partners, right? I want to enable a larger partner community and a lot more going internally. I want to create better ways of getting products faster up to market by sharing information internally. We've seen those as the biggest trends. Moving forward, we see more and more people looking into the Internet of Things, IoT, as the next wave in the future. Internet of Things is lots of sensors out there sending information to some centralized system that can analyze
it. Tsunami of data.
And that sending of information has to be APIs because most of those sensors are not connected to any wire. So that's where we come in and we can help. Again, that's a lot of why Intel has acquired us and is very excited about this space. Get this information to and from those sensors to create actions.
I think it's really interesting that any organization of any size understands that the world is so disruptive today. And if you're going to be disrupted, better to do it internally. And so APIs as the currency of innovation. If you've got APIs, if you've got a platform in your business, then you can create an innovation team or an innovation initiative within your business to try to disrupt from within. And that's a trend we're seeing now. When I talk to a lot of companies now, I find I'm talking to innovation team managers or R&D teams, and they're the first ones to adopt this now to bring it in-house because they know that they can build new products and services rapidly and quickly using their API platforms.
Clearly, this is a sector that's really matured over the past few years, and people are now reaping the benefits.
Absolutely.
That's right.
So just to change gears slightly, I always like to ask the people that I'm interviewing if they can share a piece of advice that they've received over their lives that's helped them to get them where they are today. So anything you can think of?
Buy low, sell high.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So I guess my role puts me where I want to be, right? The focus on the customer. We're all working in different levels of technology, and what I found exciting to me is that intersection between the technology and people. So I work on delighting customers, on helping them optimize value out of whatever technology is. It's not the technology for the sake of technology, it's technology for the sake of value to the customer. That's what I find passionate about.
Yeah, and Jason?
So look, I find it's a bit of a cliche, I know, but saying yes more than saying no, and taking chances, right? I mean, I look at, right now, I'm thrilled to be working in this space for a company like Mashery. Before I joined Mashery, I was actually a Mashery customer. And I recognized that there was a lot happening with APIs many years ago, and I wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I didn't know where it would go, I didn't know where it would take me, I didn't know what would happen with Mashery, but putting myself out there and taking a chance and embracing this industry because I'm passionate about it has worked out tremendously well.
Sure, and it's evident you guys are passionate about it. You can just see it.
Yeah.
So, any final messages for iTWire readers and viewers, and for your current and potential customers?
APIs, as Jason was saying, are a platform for innovation. They enable you to expose information internally or externally. They enable you to decouple your core business from the information behind it. Once you decouple these things, you can create more layers of innovation. The power we see within our customers is huge for that, and we absolutely suggest anybody who has any business out there, from single-digit number of people to Fortune 1, to look into how to expose data via APIs, and if we can help them in managing some of that so they can focus on their core business, we'd love to.
And to add to that, I would say, having had many conversations over the last couple of years with Australian businesses, I know now if you are not already thinking about your API strategy and what you're going to do with an API platform for your business, you're in trouble because your competitors are. So it's time to embrace this now and start looking at what you can do with your APIs.
Boaz, Jason, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.